I am muted. Okay. All right. We are live. I believe this multi-streaming thing is complicated. I think we are live on LinkedIn, on YouTube Landscape, and on YouTube Shorts. So wherever you're watching us, we appreciate you being here. And Tim, it's great to see you. We skipped 1 week and it feels like I haven't seen you for months and months and months and months.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving industry at the moment. That's for sure, David. It's
It's
yeah, things are, every time we sort of do this, we sort of think, what are we going to talk about? And then we end up with a great, huge, extensive list of all sorts of news.
Yeah, it was funny. Last night I emailed you and I said, hey, just making sure you're ready for the stream today. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. And you responded, you said, yeah, I don't know what we're going to talk about. And then this morning we're Zoom messaging and you created a Zoom doc for us and we have all the stuff to talk about. Um,
Yeah,
but first, I just want to say in the last month, I was at the CEDIA event, Commercial Integrator Expo. Thanks to David Danto. David, if you're watching, I really appreciate you. He gathered a great group of analysts. We did a bunch of sessions, and it's a really interesting event because it's a residential technology event traditionally, and it seems like residential for rich people. It's amazing the stuff you see there. Elevators that lower cars in your garage, and sound systems that I don't know who can afford them, but really amazing technology. But the lines have blurred between residential and commercial. Everyone has a home office, so the technology is kind of for both now, and it's become a very interesting event. I was also at Oslo. Neat flew me out. I did a video wrap up. I'll put a link below. And I did not know Neat the way I thought I knew Neat. I thought, you know, they're one of the more interesting video bar manufacturers out there. They have the Tamberg legacy. They have Janine as CEO with her Zoom experience. And okay, there's a lot of bars out there, but there's very few top tier bars, and they have the top tier bars.
and
Exceptional
collaboration
quality,
boards, of course.
and
Yeah,
the
they're getting
boards.
quite an extensive portfolio now.
Yeah, I wasn't interested in boards for a long time because I'm like, you put a bar on top of a monitor with a touchscreen, that's your board. But no, their board is special. It's got a lot of stuff in it, and their software. So I didn't know a lot about the products as much as I thought. And I thought it was like, you can get the oh, do I still have it? Oh no, I had a graphic of a Neat Center. You can get the Neat Center, you can get the board. They all kind of work together. You'll see more if you watch the video, but the financials. It's NDA, so I can't tell you, but the numbers were way bigger than I thought they were. I thought they were struggling because of all the competition out there, but no, people know what a generic bar is, and they know what a good bar is. It hasn't affected them at all. They're one of the top players in the industry. I was amazed. So thanks to the Neat team. Um, Anything you want to share of what you've been working on, or should we get right into it?
Let's get right into it. Yeah, it's
All right.
certainly it's silly season again with travel. Lots going on in the last quarter. Seems like a big rush and sprint for the finish line.
Yeah. So our first story, Amazon. I have a few articles up here. They're doing a return to office, and not like everyone else, which is a reasonable return to office. Hey, come in 2 or 3 days a week, so we feel like we still have a company, but don't drive in just to drive in. If you're sitting at your computer, you could work at home. A partial return to office. No, they want 5 days a week. They want the full thing, and 91% of staff is unhappy. It's a massive failure of imagination. Employees are begging them to not do it. And this is the key. I watched a video on LinkedIn that David Michaels and David Danto did, Talking Points. And since I'm stealing their idea, I got to give them credit. Talking Points with a Z. Look it up. They're great. Watch their video. And what they said is 73% are considering quitting on this. This isn't a return to office. This is layoffs. This is disguised layoffs. And what David Danto said is it's cowardly layoffs. They don't have the courage to say, okay, every other big company has done these terrible, unnecessary layoffs to boost their stock prices. And we want to do a terrible, unnecessary layoff to boost our stock price. And we're too cowardly to just fire people. So we're going to give this crazy RTO that everyone hates so that everyone will just quit. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean they keep changing their minds. I mean, during the COVID days, it was work wherever you see fit. In February last year, they said that they wanted people to return 3 days a week. Then in May 2023, there's protests outside Seattle's office. People signed a petition. The person that led the protest was sacked or fired. July, they said, we need to relocate to other cities as part of the return to office policy. They're looking to terminate people that now don't comply with that sort of 3-day-a-week mandate. Now, from January the 2nd next year, if you don't come in, your manager can fire you. It seems like a really medieval way to sort of treat your employee. I don't like that. I feel that, when you go for an interview with a large company, you have to have a degree of trust. Once you've hired someone, if you then turn around and say, I don't trust you, this feels, it's down to a trust issue, I think, David. I feel like employees should be trusted to know where they do their best work. I, for one,
Yes.
couldn't really work in a very noisy office. I'd find it too distracting. I'm not too sure all of these different, I'm not sure that putting people in an office and shaking vigorously will suddenly make Amazon come out with the next great idea. Who knows? But I don't know. It feels a bit icky to me. I don't like the idea of mandating anything.
Yeah, and it just goes, Amazon is one of the most amazing services in the world. I think it should be infrastructure. It's like a road. I mean, obviously, there needs to be something on the internet where you can order your products. The fact that a private individual created this infrastructure and is amazingly rich, okay, good for him. That's the beauty of capitalism. It would have taken another 20 years if we waited for government to do it. We got it early. But I'm sorry, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to hate on them. They're a garbage company run by garbage people, and Jeff Bezos is a monster human being. When we grew up back in the 80s, we were always told, workers, hey, you have to suck it up, because if you ask for too much, if you want too much money, if you want too many benefits, the company will go out of business, then no one will have any jobs. So you know what? Tighten your belt, workers. Work extra hours. Work for low salary. Help the company. Don't let the company go out of business. And when the company's profitable, at some point they're going to make so much money, it'll have to trickle down. As a kid, I thought trickle down on economics sounded like a joke, but that's what we were told. They're going to make so much money, at some point there'll be nothing left to do but give it to the workers. And my question is, when? When? Amazon has made so much money that it is insane. Their CEO, their founder, is not just one of the richest people in the world. For years, he was the richest people in the world. He's going to space. He's buying boats so big that they're having to dismantle historic bridges to get them out of harbors. He's buying all of this stuff, and he's so happy and so proud about it. And his workers are underpaid to the point that they're on welfare and food stamps. I'm paying Amazon workers salaries because Jeff Bezos doesn't want to pay them enough. He treats his workers so horribly. There are places where they had to move warehouses because everyone in town worked for the warehouse and quit, and there was no one left to hire because everyone there is a former employee, miserable employee. When does it trickle down? At what point do you say, oh my God, we have so much money we don't know what to do with. Let's give the workers a raise. Let's give the workers a bonus so David's tax money doesn't have to subsidize it. And the answer is never. It's never going to happen. One more example, Walmart. The Walton family is the richest family in the world. They have more money than Musk. They have more money than Bezos. They're the richest family in the world. They don't do anything. Their dad did some terribly uncompetitive business practices that destroyed every small business in America. And they just made $100 billion last week because they did a stock buyback. Walmart had an extra $100 billion. They had nothing to do with it. There was no new stores to open, no new advertising they needed to do. They had $100 billion. They said, we don't know what to do with this. And it never even occurred to them to give it to the workers. Give the workers raises, give the workers benefits. Walmart workers, they're on food stamps. I'm paying their salaries. Why not give them raises with $100 billion? It never occurred to them. You know what they did? They did a stock buyback, which basically means they handed $100 billion to the Walton family, the richest family in the world. And then what are they going to do with it? Nothing. They have everything. Oh, now we can buy that car we've always wanted. No, they have it. They're going to sit on it like Smog the Dragon sitting on a pile of gold. If that money had gone to the employees, they would have spent it. It would have boosted the economy. So I'm so it's a little bit of a side rant there, but companies like Amazon, man, if they don't treat their work, and now they're just abusing their workers with this RTO stuff, it's hard not to
Well,
hate them.
I think the bottom line is treat your workers with respect, and they'll go the extra mile for your company. And happy employees, happy clients, happy customers. We'll see how this works out for the new CEO, Andy Jassy. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
the Seattle area got a lot of great companies there. If you aren't working for Amazon, you can always work for Microsoft. We'll see how this pans out.
Yeah. And and you talk about trust. Just one last comment on this. These layoffs are ridiculous. It's one thing if you say, hey, we think we have some redundancy. I don't want to be paying two people to do the job that one people could do. That, of course, I don't want redundancy. If you bring in an external consultant and they go through all the employees and they say, okay, 7.3% of your employees are redundant. They're not doing any work. You don't need them. Nothing against them, but they're kind of freeloaders. You need to get rid of them. Okay, fine. That makes sense. But when you say at the start, we're cutting 10%, that's not about redundancy. That's not about individual work performance. 10% is a number picked to make the stock market happy. And that's outrageous to me. And that's what's been happening. All of these layoffs have been pick a number that'll make the stock market happy. 10%, 5%, 12%, fire those employees. How can you work for one of these companies when you know you might be fired regardless of your performance, regardless of the work you do, regardless of how good you are? If they want to do 10% to make the stock market happy and you're in that 10%, you're out. It's the trust thing, just like you said.
Yeah.
All right. Sad, but
wow. Deep breath, David. Deep breath. Where are we going now?
That's been bothering me for a long time. Okay, let's move on to some happy stuff. Zoom has a bunch of new features they just announced. Zoom Docs. Yeah. We're using Zoom Docs to plan this show. There's a lot of good stuff in Zoom Docs. Do you want to? I think you had a list of some things you want to talk about.
There is a lot. I mean, good news for FedRAMP government customers. You can get meeting summaries now using AI Companion. There's some great stuff in terms of AI. Obviously Zoom are well known for meeting, webinars, events, but of course they do email and calendaring now. So you've got AI assisted email composition, which is really good. Yeah. Some people still use email. Zoom Docs GA, great. This is a nice one that I didn't think it got as much airtime as it should do. There's an AI recorder for Microsoft Teams. So if you're in Microsoft Teams, you can send your Zoom AI recorder into Teams and get a summary of a Microsoft Teams meeting, which is really good.
Oh, so like a little bot that sits in your meeting and listens?
Yes. Yeah.
Like
so if you're, you can, it doesn't matter which environment you're in, whether or not that's Microsoft Teams or Zoom, you can get that AI transcription. One thing as well that I was very interested in was on the contact center side of the house, multi-language transcription for multi-language support, sorry, for transcription. There's also the ability for you to view the whole customer journey through voice, SMSs, emails, messaging, social media, which is a really good thing. And then the integration between the front office and the back office. What you can do is you can transfer all of the notes that you've got, and that could be manual notes and or AI generated notes. So I could transfer that from myself, if I'm an agent, David, to yourself, who might be a subject matter expert. So you've got that context of what the call's all about. So some really great stuff there. And I'm sure that we're going to hear a lot more around that at Zoomtopia.
Yeah, and I love it because everything you talked about ties into the Zoom workplace messaging, which I've loved since the beginning. The idea that Zoom isn't, a bunch of products. Zoom meetings is great, and then there's Zoom chat, and there's Zoom this, and Zoom. It's all just Zoom workplace, and you just live in it all day. And that always resonated with me, and I was worried it might be just kind of marketing, but it's real. It's real. So good for Zoom.
It is. And that's something we call multicast at Omdia. It's the joining of unified communications and contact center on a single platform, single data source, single offering, really. It's not a bundle of apps thrown at the wall to see what sticks. It's really well designed with a single platform in mind.
Yep. And one last note on Zoom. I spoke with Leo at Zoom this morning, and told him I'm so excited about Zoom Docs. I'm using Zoom Docs with you to plan this show. I'm using Zoom Docs with Kevin Keeler to plan the AI Chef show. Please watch the AI Chefs. I'm so excited about that new show. I've been making my little Trello boards in there. I'm sorry to Trello. I love Trello, but I live in my Trello boards, and having them inside Zoom Workplace with everything else is so powerful to me. And I'm like, I'm going to start making some tutorials about Zoom Docs. I'm so excited about it. And Leo said, David, hold on to your seat. Wait till after Zoomtopia. It's all this NDA stuff. Can't tell you anything, but there's enough Zoom Docs stuff happening coming out of Zoomtopia that I need to wait. So I'm excited. Because I already like it. So the fact that they're doubling, tripling down on it and going to make it even better within the next month is very exciting to me.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's interesting as well is some more news around Zoom is going to be Mitel's exclusive UCaaS partner.
Yes.
Mitel's decided to terminate its exclusivity partnership with RingCentral that it's held for the last 3 years, I believe, and they're actually going to be exclusive. Zoom's going to be Mitel's exclusive UCaaS partner. So there's that's going to be an interesting move as well. Potentially this hybrid model where you can have Mitel on-premise voice complemented by Zoom's features in the UC as a service cloud.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Mitel had some sort of UC offering of their own for years, and it never quite kind of took off. And look, there's things that companies are good at and things that other companies are better at. Zoom's better at this. So do you want to compete with Zoom, or do you want to partner with Zoom? It seems pretty obvious. Yeah, same similar thing with Pexip. I just did a video with Pexip. I'll put a link below. Back in the day, Pexip was kind of competitive with Zoom, and they realized that's not what they're best at. What Pexip is best at is, well, they're not just the best at it, they're the only ones to do it, is this amazing interop stuff. You have to watch this video I did with Pexip, because the big complaint that everyone has with UC is something that Pexip solves. And no one seems to know, why doesn't UC do this? Why can't I talk to join a Teams room from my Zoom client? Why can't I join? Yeah, you can. Learn about Pexip. So yeah, please watch that video. All right, on to our final topic. We have acquisitions in the industry. Intermedia. Can you? I haven't done the research on this one. Can you help us out with this one?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be on a briefing with a colleague of mine, Brent, and we spoke to Intermedia, and Intermedia are acquiring NEC's UCaaS and CCaaS operations in North America, and they're also moving into Europe as well, the partner relationships in Europe. So there's a definitive agreement. Intermedia has sort of entered into a definitive agreement with NEC to take over Univerge. So take over their UCaaS offerings and contact center as a service offerings. Basically, North America, NEC decided that they wanted to close its business down outside of Japan. So still, Japan's an interesting theater, really, because they still haven't really moved into the cloud in a big way like most of the rest of the world, really. So they've decided to retrench and make sure that they keep their PBX business in Japan. But what they found was it was very difficult to move into the as a service cloud industry with so many competitors in a contested market, and a market that, quite frankly, has got limited growth now. There's so many competitors in there. They were slow to recognize the fact that we are moving to the cloud. I guess they were perhaps influenced by their own, their own market in Japan, thinking, well, no one's moved to the cloud in Japan, but didn't really take notice of what's happening in the rest of the world. So this is really great for Intermedia. It expands their global presence. It gives them a better position in the cloud. They've quite a large subscribed base of NEC customers that they can take on board. So all good news for Intermedia.
Excellent. And the other acquisition, I don't have a graphic up here. Vyapta was just acquired by HP. This is very interesting to me. Vyapta isn't, well, they're not the only ones who do this, but they're one of the few who do it, and they do it really well. All these analytics and data that we really need to understand our UC environment, and they've expanded into spaces because now with return to office, we're figuring out our physical layouts. it's a really powerful platform that does a lot of amazing stuff. I had an interview with Viapt. I'll put a link below to that as well, a few months ago. And on the one hand, wow, this is going to really empower HP, but I'm kind of worried. I thought like everyone should be partnering and using Viapta, and now it's just HP is going to have Viapta. Um, I think, well, I think this is really good, obviously good for Viapta, but very good for HP and HP customers. And I think there's might be a gap in the rest of the market now for these kind of services for other companies.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there's very few. I mean, I'm thinking of Voss and others that sort of look at getting all this meaningful data and providing insights from different platforms. And it feels like that market is shrinking, Viopta being, a casualty of that particular market. I guess what we're finding now is people wanting to, data is the new currency. Everyone wants to know what to do with devices, people, places. All of that rich data environment is there to make meaningful decisions on and apply AI to. So I guess we're seeing this sort of very attractive offering for the likes of HP and others to try and integrate all that data and to do something meaningful with it. So make sense of it all and provide that information back to the business.
And I think whoever made this decision at HP is very, very smart, because I've been thinking for a long time that Viapta is underappreciated, undervalued, underutilized. The industry doesn't understand the importance of it, and just understand how powerful it is. And someone at HP not only understood the value, but said, "I want this for myself," and took it in. So I could be wrong, but I think this is a great move by HP.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I don't think so. Looking forward to, updating people as to what's going on in the world of events and what's coming down the line and what sort of things we can see coming for next year. There's certainly going to be a lot of emerging trends. I'm sure it's going to be in there somewhere. And I have a feeling that we're going to move from hype to reality. So I've always joked that AI stands for artificially inflated. I think we're going to get to augmented insights in 2025. We'll see, but I'm looking forward to these events and getting updated from all our vendors.
Yes, next month we have Zoomtopia and WebEx1. Both are going to be the two of the best events every year. So I'm looking forward to both of them. And, we'll be back here. So you're sending people from your teams. I'm going to be going, and we'll have a lot to talk about. So the next few episodes are going to be really fun.
Excellent. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Tim. And thank you, everyone for watching. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Take care. Where's the button to end the stream? Professional streamer. Let's see. Here we go. Closing scene. Bye-bye, everyone.